And at 10, Sinister Turmoil Sewers. Sinister Turmoil was planned to be a full release game. However, the full game never really came to fruition. Mangle was planned to be the main antagonist of the game, where they were using the name Prototype Foxy. However, while the whole game wasn't released, we managed to get Sinister Turmoil Sewers instead, which is a snippet of what the main game would have looked like. In the game, you are trying to escape a Freddy Fazbear amusement park when your friend says to escape through the sewers. However, when you enter, you realize that Mangle has been set loose in the sewers, which leads me to believe that your friend is up to some fishy business. Perhaps he is playing active. The game from then on is very reminiscent of the corn maze from the Curse of Dreadbear DLC. I've played through that minigame and the two are very similar. In Sinister Turmoil, which did come out first, there's a cupcake that follows you around, and if you don't look at it for long enough, it decides it's going to scream like a child, and it will alert Mangle to your location. In Corn Maze, there are clusters of crows on the ground in random places, where if you step on them, they scare the hell out of you and alert Foxy to your location. By the way, that's the worst part of that game. It's terrifying. The main antagonists of the game are versions of Foxy, Mangle in Sinister Turmoil, and Grim Foxy in Corn Maze. I think someone got their ideas elsewhere, Scott. In at 9, Five Nights at Candy's. Five Nights at Candy's is the first in the series of 5 Candy's games that include 4 main titles and then a final remastered version of the first one. After Freddy Fazbear's closed for good, it's clear that the stage was set, no pun intended, for another contender in children's entertainment. So Candy's decided to take their shot. What could go wrong? The gameplay is similar to that of FNAF. However, you have the added ability of having night vision in the cameras, and they added a 3rd floor in the form of an office window, which adds more complexity and difficulty to the gameplay. The first game includes 13 characters, including the beloved phone guy, obviously a different one, but we all love the phone guy, and the main title character of Candy with her merry band of animatronic killers. Cindy, Blank, Chester, the Penguin, damn it Batman, I thought you had dealt with him, Old Candy, the Rat, Vinny, Shadow Cat, Origami Cat, and the Easter egg Markiplier animatronic. Who do you think the king of FNAF is? Let me know below. It's MatPat. Come on. And at 8, The Joy of Creation. The Joy of Creation is for sure one hell of a clever name. T-Jock has a unique viewpoint because you play as the one and only Danny DeVito. Sorry, I meant Scott Cawthon. Autocorrect. Created by Nixon, the story is set after Scott ended the Five Nights series. After he does, however, the animatronics start attacking him because they want to take what he took from them, their lives, in the form of the games. After the production of another game was cancelled, the game transitioned into The Joy of Creation Reborn. The game has several modes, including the original survival mode and a newly added story mode. The game features ignited versions of the old animatronics, and they look straight up terrifying. This is one of the scariest games on the list, and the story mode is the most terrifying game mode out of all of them by far. Even looking at the trailer gives me the heebie-jeebies. And at 7, Five Nights at Wario's Debauchery Simulator. Made by Tonkoy on Game Jolt, the description for Five Nights at Wario's Debauchery Simulator reads, quote, Wario wants to find the murderer who killed them so they can go on a adventure that is full of MLG. And that's it. The credits are to WWW for creating Five Nights at Wario's and Scott Cawthon for making FNAF. This is just a sin, not even if you play it, but like if you just so much as look at the Game Jolt page, you're going to hell. This just screams shit show, and to be frank, I don't really want to have to deal with it. This is almost certainly a riff on another fan game, which subsequently was inspired by Five Nights at Boys, so I don't know what to do anymore. Like, is this a fan game, or is it a fan game of a fan game of a fan game, or is it just like a fan game of a fan game? I don't know, my brain hurts. And at 6, Golden Freddy's Debauchery Simulator. The description for this game starts off with a warning right away. Quote, this is just a fan game for Five Nights at F-Boys and not a game by the original creators. I am not trying to take credit for making the original games, and I am just a fan of the original FNAF games, who had too much time on their hands. This is a Five Nights at Boys fan game where you play as the best character, Golden Freddy, during the 5 days prior to the first FNAF Night of Debauchery, as he has not just a night of debauchery, but a complete week of debauchery. But some F-Lord keeps shitting on everything he loves, progressively making stuff and contrived reasons for the first game's events ensue. And just like Five Nights at F-Boys, this has a list of unnecessary details. Unnecessary difficulty. Seriously, this game will kick your teeth in if you aren't prepared. Party hats everywhere. Terrible fan-made dialogue. Golden Freddy. Brutal romantic pirate conquest. Whatever that means. And finally, Wyvern adult battery operated fake extremities that I cannot talk about on YouTube. Yeah, it's one of those games. Halfway through into number 5, Five Nights at Chucky's. In a few days, the old animatronics are going to be replaced, although that means someone's going to have to watch over the restaurant during the transitionary period. And management has given you a new temporary position as a night watchman. You've been provided with security cameras to ensure your and the animatronic safety, along with a personal phone guide. It should be a simple job, right? This is an official, complete reboot of the popular 2015 FNAF fan game Five Nights at Chuck E. Cheese's, featuring new mechanics, graphics, and more, while still keeping the spirit of the original game. A FNAF fan game about f***ing Chuck E. Cheese. What the absolute living hell, people? Why? Like, I understand that Freddy's is a riff on Chucky's, okay, but we don't need this. This is the one thing that I thought was going to be safe from the FNAF world due to fear of copyright strikes or trademark law violations, but no, they just went for it. And it's a shame, because I don't want to suffer for the mistakes of lesser men, but I guess that I have to. And now, you do too. When my kid asks me to go to Chuck E. Cheese and I say no, they're gonna get all mad, but they're not gonna understand why. This is why. And for Purple Guy Simulator. Purple Guy Simulator isn't exactly the most sinful game. It's something that I was actually asking for, honestly, but I personally wanted it in VR. But straight up, I love the fact that there is actually a Purple Guy Simulator. Going around to Freddy's Pizzeria, killing kids, and then shoving their bodies into animatronic suits until you get caught by the cops is certainly something that I find blissful. It's relaxing, running around trying to find a kid who's alone so that you can shove a knife in their chest and then try to hide their body before anyone, like another kid or like another parent, finds it. Oh man. My biggest question is, why do parents keep bringing their kids to these restaurants if children end up going missing there? And a lot of children when I play. Like, who thought that the continued attendance to Freddy Fazbear's was a good idea? Hell, if someone sneezed in the wrong way, my father would like tell us not to go there for like 5 years after that. Like, Barney was banned in my household for whatever reason. Into 3 A Shadow Over Freddy's, a tableau FNAF game with the ability to explore the entire pizzeria. You have different objectives instead of the typical gameplay, and the whole exploration thing has got to be inspired by that Game Lab episode of FNAF. The way you complete these nights is by completing objectives, not surviving until 6 AM. You have no power to hinder you, but you also have no time to save you. Plus, the game is in black and white, which makes it all the more terrifying. Not being able to see the colors of the animatronics means you will be questioning every single little thing about this game. Is that an animatronic or am I just seeing things? Is that the light or is that something that's gonna kill me? Did I fart or was that an animatronic? You'll never know. And where the hell is the fan? I don't know. Oh, fan. The scariest part of this is that you're not done until you complete your objective. No biding your time, no cowering in fear, you need to move or you're gonna die. It's terrifying. And 2, Super FNAF. Remember FNAF World? Yeah, I wish I didn't either. However, if you were to try and play through FNAF 57, Freddy in Space, in a 16-bit pixelized version, would you do it? I think we all know that that's the best FNAF game in the series. Super FNAF is a 16-bit platformer game released on October 23rd, 2016, and it tries to pay homage to the original FNAF world where it's drew its inspiration. There's an arcade mode, a story mode, a free play mode, side quests, and so much more. But there isn't a secret objective to gather clocks and set up clues for the real world for you to discover in FNAF 3. Wait, what if there is and just no one's discovered it yet? No, it doesn't exist. However, it would give the game some replay value, just trying to find it over and over again. The story mode contains 6 nights and has you guiding the original animatronics through the FNAF 1 pizzeria in platforming fun that will remind you of the classic Super Mario and FNAF combined. Definitely try it out, even if you don't like platformers, because like it's FNAF, and we all love FNAF. Finally, in at number 1, Pop Goes. A story based on the first 3 FNAF games, Pop Goes, like many others, is about a competitor and successor in a way to Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. A year after the fire at Fazbear Fright, a rich and creative inventor in England, only known as Fritz, has taken the role of continuing the animatronic pizza brand with its own restaurant called Pop Goes Pizzeria. They had extremely advanced robotics, but nothing like possessed animatronics walking around because they had kids stuffed inside them and then their souls got infused with their bodies, thus creating like soul metal remnant. Yeah, nothing like that. This pizzeria was far ahead of its time. 3D printers in every room, and touchscreen devices for the kids. It was a Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, but better and without the child murder we all expect. But Fritz never built the place for the customers. He built it for himself. And as a night guard, you're part of the scheme. So let's get started and help Fritz out. Some observant viewers may have noticed that the name Fritz seems fairly familiar. It is actually the name that Mike used in the first FNAF game, and it was the name of the child who got stuffed into Foxy, as we know from the gravestone ending and it being in the same position of the good ending ending in FNAF 3. What could this man be doing? Is his name actually Fritz? Does he know Fritz? Is he related to Fritz? You'll have to play it yourself to find out. And at 10, Final Nights. While originally this number was meant to be the Willy's Wonderland fan game, I couldn't find any information on it, and nobody who played this game included links in their description. Yet if we don't put a link to something we play, everyone flips out on us. No matter the double standard, Final Nights is much more fitting game for this list. The Final Nights series as a whole is pretty inventive. Starting off the series with Mike Schmidt fleeing the FNAF 1 pizzeria after it's losing power, but it being followed by a mysterious entity that escaped from Freddy called the Brother, and then escalates from there, eventually adding the Reaper animatronics and the mechanics of actually having to sleep to pass time in FNAF 3. Ironically, the same game the Reapers are introduced. The animatronics are scary, the story is scary, and it's all honestly more disturbing than the original game, and I think that's something that we can all appreciate. And at 9, Before the Good Memory. Before the Good Memory is a FNAF fan game made by GameJolt user Mr. Rybizzle. In this game you play as Richard, who is working at Fredbear's Family Diner working to save up money to go to Junior's for his son's birthday. I'm assuming that it's the Juniors from Midnight Motorist. But as the GameJolt page puts it, it doesn't go good. The only two animatronics in the game are Spring Bonnie and Golden Spring Freddy, aptly named Fredbear, because, you know, it's Fredbear. But features helping on the office desk, which I don't think would happen, but hey, whatever, it's a fan game. After entering the office in this free roam diner, the player activates the animatronics that will begin free roaming and will charge at the player when seen, but you can lean around corners and turn your flashlight off to minimize your visibility. The game is definitely an interesting one and a different take on gameplay, and the sound design is good as well, making the jump scares really hit. And at 8, The Twisted Carnival. When 5 children are mysteriously found dead unexplainably after a ride on a Ferris wheel, it's obvious that something strange is happening, and the secrets must be uncovered. Working as a night guard at King's Carnival has its perks, like getting unfettered access to the park during the day, but during work hours, expect to spend long nights fending off Bear Hug and his gang of mechanical husks as you plunge deeper into the darkness of the Twisted Carnival. Can you solve the mystery? The Twisted Carnival is made by GameJolt user Galva_ and includes everything you love about a FNAF game. Multiple angles, a big door, or in this case a window, mini games, and terrifying animatronics. There is currently only a demo available, but nonetheless these animatronics are hella spooky. With characters like Foxtrot, Bonzo, Bear Hug, Chixie, and question mark, there is bound to be plenty of horror come the full game release, and I'm looking forward to it. I mean, I'm certainly not going to be playing it, but others will. And at 7, One Night at Flumpty's. The GameJolt description for this game is, the game is an inside joke. There's no backstory, no meaningful undertones, nothing to theorize about. It's just for fun, so have fun. And after dealing with this series for 7 years, we know that there is always a story. There's always something to theorize about, okay? We just know it. This wonderful fan game includes characters such as Flumpty Bumpty, Birthday Boy Blam, the Red Man, Eyesore, Grunkfuss the Clown, which is the real Eyesore, the Beaver, Golden Flumpty, and the Owl. The game plays similarly to FNAF, with relatively similar mechanics. However, there's a hole in the wall where Grunkfuss the Clown can pop out of, and the game appears as if it's all hand-drawn, which can make the game appear slightly less terrifying, but it also makes it more personal and can give you more of a personal connection to the game if that's what you're looking for. And if you want to theorize about it, I'm sure that there's something you can. There's gotta be something to be found, right? We need to get like a community together to form theories for these games. It has to happen. We gotta connect all the FNAF fan games to the lore, somehow. Please. Please. Set up a Discord. And at 6, Final Nights 3, Nightmares Awoken. Final Nights is absolutely terrifying. If you haven't seen Top 10 Scariest FNAF Animatronics, the first part, go check it out because I talk about Reaper Puppet and it's one of the scariest animatronics in that whole series, but also in the whole like FNAF world, even including the fan games. Like, oh my god. I said that the Reaper Puppet looks like a weird version of Jeff the Killer, and I'm not wrong. The whole series is populated by messed up versions of the original animatronics, like Withered Toy animatronics and the Reaper animatronics like I mentioned earlier, which are the ones appearing in the third game alongside the Reaper Puppet. And Reaper Balloon Boy looks like something I've actually seen in my nightmares before I've ever heard of these games. The third game in the series, which is the one I'm most familiar with, has you literally staying in your hospital room when the animatronics attack, which is incredibly rude. Like, come on, man, I'm recovering, but you're still going to invade my personal space like that? Well, yes, in that game you need to survive until morning Time doesn't actually move if you're awake. You actually need to sleep in order to make any progress, which means that you're going to be leaving yourself vulnerable to attacks. It's an incredible game mechanic, and with terrifying animatronics, it's an interesting way that the series could have gone. But if it went this way, oh man, I'd be playing it a lot more. And at 5, Dormitabus. I know you guys were saying that I'm saying that wrong, but I don't know how to say it normally, so. Faced with dangerous robotic abominations, the player has to survive 10 nights of terror and panic, while all you have to defend yourself is a rusty old desktop and your own reflexes. You are challenged by a whole host of robotic monstrosities, but the thing is, they used to be your friends. Who are you? Where are you? And what the hell is going on? You'll just have to figure that one out yourself. The reason I found out about this game is because of a Reddit thread that said that this game had one hell of a messed up story, but they didn't really use that language. They used more vulgar language. The story of the game should be discovered for yourself, so I'm not going to spoil it. But the game ties itself into the lore of the first 4 FNAF games, not including Sister Location or the Silver Eyes because they hadn't been announced when this game was released. But I mean, they should have expected it because Scott releases a new game like every other month. Well, not anymore. He used to. We remember the days. And at 4, Bonnie Simulator 2. Ever wanted to kill kids? Okay, ever wanted to kill kids in video games? Well, how about killing a security guard while you travel instantaneously from camera to camera while he tries to survive? Well, if the latter tickled your fancy, you probably wanted to play as an animatronic. Well, in the series of animatronic simulator games, you play as one specific animatronic. In Bonnie Simulator 2, you play as either Toy Bonnie or Withered Bonnie in the FNAF 2 location, where you travel from camera to camera trying to attack the guard. However, they made the game more difficult, so the guard is pretty smart and is actually good at the game. They should have like difficulties where you like fight against YouTubers, you know? Like a Markiplier difficulty, a Daco difficulty, MadPat, you know. The big FNAF YouTubers should be difficulties. I don't think it's in production anymore, but if someone wants to do it, be my guest. That idea is free. You're welcome. I usually charge a hefty sum. And at 3, Five Nights at Fredbear's 3. Welcome to Fredbear's Family Diner, also known as William's Restaurant, a new pizzeria burger restaurant based off the old Fredbear's Family Diner and Fredbear and Friends. You work as a security guard from 12 a.m. to 6 a.m. and fend off animatronics for 5 nights. Not only that, you have to stay until 7 a.m. to conduct repairs on the animatronics too. You have 5 days until the party, so let's get ready. Five Nights at Fredbear's 3 is getting a free roam remaster coming soon, and the game currently has a demo available as well and features your favorite killer animatronics and more, with new infected variants on the originals from what I've seen in gameplay videos. At least, if they weren't lying. The game is being made by Jordan is Great 505, which pains me to say because that's my sister's name, on GameJolt, and the demo was released 6 months ago, but they still post regularly on GameJolt, link on their GameJolt page, so you can follow them if you'd like updates. The game looks absolutely horrific and wonderful, but again, I'm not gonna play it. You can. And at 10, Five Nights at the Car. This game makes me need to go to confession because the sheer amount of rage this game fills me with, the pure anger I feel thanks to this game cannot go away. I can't even call this a game. It doesn't deserve to be on this list because, well, it isn't a game. This is a goddamn set of 3 pictures. Nothing more than that. Just 3 goddamn JPEG files, not even PNGs. How was this allowed to be on GameJolt? Is there no rule that there has to be an EXE file? Like, this makes me so angry. What the actual hell? The description of this game is even worse. It's, hey bro, thanks for doing this job. You are a 10-year-old kid who is in his car at the mall waiting for your mom, but weird things want to kill you, so your job is to protect yourself from them. If you're hearing this, you're crazy. End quote. What? This thing is so absurdly bad that it hurts me. This is literally just a JPEG file that looks absolutely atrocious. Like, I know it takes a lot to make a game, but these images were made in what looks like MS Paint, not even Paint 3D. I could make a better game than this. Like, this is just a cardinal sin of humanity that needs to just be taken out back right between the eyes. That's why I will send you to confession. This is why I need to go to confession. And at 9, Five Nights at F-Boys. Five Nights at F-Boys is a FNAF fan game created by Sable Lynn and Joshua Shaw, an RPG maker version X Ace featuring unfair difficulty, text-to-speech voice acting, and beautiful animatronic yiffing. You control Freddy, who decided that he wants to have a radical night of hardcore debauchery, and the surveillance cameras of the pizzeria are the only thing standing in his way. With the help of Bonnie, Chica, and Foxy, Freddy must destroy the cameras so that he can have the time of his life. The Game Jolt page lists the features as over 50 lines of voice-acted dialogue by text-to-speech programs, infuriatingly powerful and frustrating main bosses, even more infuriatingly powerful and frustrating bonus bosses, seriously, even the regular encounters will fucking destroy you, free money, Balloon Boy, Foxy pleasuring themselves, and Dragon adult recreational devices. Oh, homicidal party hats, and Tupac. And it ate FNAF 3 PowerPoint Edition. I think this game makes some sense as to why it's on this list already. It's a game that from the description was made in PowerPoint. This FNAF game was made in PowerPoint. How the ever-loving hell did that work? How can you make a FNAF game in PowerPoint? Like, imagine if that's how Scott released the first game. That's just a freaking PowerPoint file. That would have been insane. Plus, this is just a very simple, like, click a couple times and get jump scared kind of thing. Don't even actually play. I mean, like, at least this jump scare is scarier than the original FNAF 3 jump scare, though. Zing! Like, this is just a sin because it feels bad and wrong to play it. Or to even have it downloaded, honestly. I thought that the whole it's a PowerPoint thing was a joke, but no. It's literally a PowerPoint that you just click through. And it's 7 Babies Nightmare Circus. This time you've gotten lost in your mind. You're trapped, unable to wake and remember. Best guess is to defend yourself in your dreadful sleep. Use your flashlight to ward off unwanted creatures. Venture to tents to explore. Find a way out. Created by Mixless on Game Jolt, this is probably the scariest FNAF fan game based on Baby and the Funtime animatronics from what I've seen. These things are messed up and the story will send shivers down your already shaking spine just from looking at these screenshots. If you love Sister Location and the Funtime animatronics, take this game for a spin, because it's basically the Dark Carnival before the Dark Carnival was a real thing. It's great. It's also ironic that I'm saying about this one and not the Twisted Carnival, but that's Twisted, not Dark. And at 6, Twisted Reality. Created by Game Jolt user PanPie, Twisted Reality is based on the second novel of the official FNAF series, The Twisted Ones, but is featuring other fan-made animatronics such as Twisted Fredbear instead of the official Twisted animatronics. The game was cancelled as the developer lost interest in the game, however, he is now currently making a reboot of the game called Twisted Reality Returns. The game takes place in Fazbear's Frightening Museum, where you're you guessed it, night guard who has to defend themselves from the dangerous Twisted animatronics buried underground. But during the day, while they may not come out, they still track you. The game currently has 3 animatronics and the player must use different ways to defend themselves. The player has a TV and a security monitor. While TV is used to check on infected Freddys, the player can use the security monitor to check on Twisted Fredbear. The power supply is limited, so the player must make sure to shut off their TV to cool down the generators. There is also a flamethrower feature in camera 3B in the monitor as well. This can be used to ward off any attackers, because, you know, it's fire. And the Twisted animatronics are some of the most terrifying ones that we've been described, so it's bound to be fun. Halfway through in at number 5, Golden Memory. Golden Memory, now Golden Memory Remastered, is a fan game created by Game Jolt user Wester and features some damn good graphics from what I've been seeing. So if that's your cup of tea, I'd suggest that game for you. The game takes place at Fredbear's Family Diner in 1983 and features 4 animatronics. Spring Bonnie, Fredbear, Freddy, and Bonnie, all with different mechanics, but also simple to send away. The jump scares are scary, and while the gameplay is simple, with animatronics appearing in your office and you needing to click a button to make them go away, when they do appear in your office, it's terrifying. Trust me, play it for yourself and you'll end up yourself. But yeah, play it for yourself, I'm not doing it. And at 4, Pork Chop's Horror Show. Created by Game Jolt user Fiznom, who is the one developing FNAF Plus as part of the Fazbear Fanverse initiative, Pork Chop's Horror Show is a mix of free-roam point-and-click horror with the classic FNAF survival thrown in there to spice things up. Welcome, dear contestant, to the experience of a lifetime inside the reinforced walls of Pork Chop's Horror Show, where the brave and mentally unstable alike come to throw their lives away for the promise of money, prizes, and fame. Relatable. Survive the winding corridors of the haunted meat factory, where our mechanical but maniacal friend Pork Chop will hunt you down and make you wish your death were as quick and painless as a simple jump scare. However, the game is currently on hold since they're prioritizing FNAF Plus, which is understandable, but nevertheless this looks horrifying, and if you want a taste, you can play Pork Chop's Adventure, which is a separate Game Jolt game. But still by Fiznom. Getting close to the end, and in number 3, Five Nights of Love. Oh yeah, the game that I didn't know existed but had a feeling it would. This game actually inspired a whole series of lists that even though I didn't know that it was a thing until I looked it up. But I figured if KFC had a dating simulator, FNAF must have one too, right? And it absolutely does. You heard me right, ladies and gentlemen, a FNAF dating sim. You love shipping animatronics with everything, living or not, breathing or not, with a human trapped in a suit or even just a pile of trash, you'll still ship it, and it's disturbing. But this time, you get to decide who makes the cut in Five Nights of Love. Tracking via cameras the rooms of the public place, a player will periodically meet the live toy animatronics, Chica, Foxy, Freddy, and Balloon Boy. With every one of them, the player can have a heart-to-heart talk or hug these unfortunate freaks, as the game calls it, giving them all of their love and attention. Thanks to this treatment, the level of the toy's love towards you will only increase by 5% or 10%, but the energy level that you have consequentially will decrease by 10 or 25%. Once your energy is out, the player will have to return to their office and start the next day. However, you can also refill your energy at Balloon Boy by up to like 50% at once if you're lucky. But over a period of 5 days, you are trying to make these animatronics as happy as possible, earning bonus scores for how well you do. And finally, in at number 1, Five Nights in Anime. I mean, look, I know that people's love of animatronics can get a little weird, but even I, of all people, someone who constantly jokes about hitting on Toy Chica and then actually goes and does it, I was surprised to learn that this game existed when Amanda mentioned it in the weirdest FNAF fan game collab video. I honestly imagined that this is what Five Nights at Love was going to be, and I've seen a lot of fan art for this franchise. A lot. And I thought I had seen it all, but apparently I hadn't. Enter Five Nights in Anime. Oh boy, this is a game that was created to parody Five Nights at Freddy's, obviously, but instead of you being a security guard at Freddy's, you've been hired as a late night security guard at an anime convention. You know where this is going. And it's up to you to watch these anime-style female animatronic versions of the Freddy's cast. Hijinks ensue. We've still got the core cast of animatronics, but just as well-endowed anime women, because why not? I think the really weird thing about this game is that how many people want more of it, and like, it got a second game. And not only that, but these characters, they aren't actually women. They're still animatronics. They're full-on animatronics, and they're not even possessed. So what's the point?